The first startup we have is Jeffrey from Dentures Today.
Hi, how are you guys today?
Hey, Jeffrey, how are you?
Good.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
All good.
Yep.
Great. Well, thanks so much for everybody joining. I appreciate your time. My name is Jeff Fountain. I'm the co-founder and COO of Dentures Today. We're a tech-forward and innovative way of replacing dentures in an on-demand capacity. We're the first of our kind. The number one issue that people face is that there is no continuous care for denture wearers, but there should be. In 2021, no one should settle for poor oral care because, like those with natural teeth, denture wearers should also get routine hygiene checks. And unfortunately, dentures have traditionally been a one-and-done treatment. There's 40 million Americans in the United States that don't have any teeth, and contrary to what you may believe, the average denture wearer is actually in their 50s. The denture process in general has been the same for over 100 years. It's slow and it's outdated and it's expensive. And more importantly, if dentures break or they get lost, denture patients are looking at months to get a new one, costing thousands of dollars. So introducing Dentures Today. We've reinvented dentures and we're focusing on what matters the most, and that's the patient. We're 5 times faster and up to 75% more cost effective for the patient. We're an on-demand denture replacement club. We have a subscription maintenance agreement or program, and with that, we offer a continuous care model. Like I said, we are the first of its kind. We're 100% digital. Quite frankly, we scan existing dentures and we 3D print new ones. We're a direct-to-consumer brand that drives patients into local dental offices. With that being said, we really focus our partnership with dentists to the 10,000 or more dentists that have an existing 3D scanner in their office. Dentists love us because we send great referrals to their practice. So if you're looking at the user journey, a patient sees an ad, they book an appointment, they get their denture scanned, they get a new denture, and they join our maintenance subscription agreement for $149 a year. So putting it simply, how do we make money? Providers pay us a $30,000 annual licensing agreement to partner with us and for us to do direct-to-consumer marketing. We sell dentures to those providers at an ASP of about $300 a unit. And as mentioned, the patient joins our annual subscription agreement for $149 a year for us to store their digital record. We are the first mover in this area, and the competition moves very slowly because they're stuck in an analog world as opposed to the digital world that we live in. You can think of us as the Invisalign or the Smile Direct Club of dentures. It's an immense opportunity with 6 million new denture wearers joining the market every year. So in 2020, we completed our proof of concept. We have 6 licensed providers. We've done over 100 memberships, 100 dentures. In our first 6 months, we did $125,000 in revenue. And since that time, we've eclipsed $250,000 in revenue. If you look at the way that we scale, in 2021, we look to expand across the state of Florida with 40 license paying providers and eclipsing $1 million in revenue. And you can see how that scales through 2025, where we would be going in a national capacity with 850 license paying providers and hopefully eclipsing at least $45 million. Thus far, we've raised over $1 million in our pre-seed round. That's through a convertible note. We have another 900,000 available in that convertible note. In parallel, we also are looking at a seed round in which we're trying to raise $3 million. The majority of our money goes to people and marketing, but it kind of outlines the other expenses or where the other money would be going. As mentioned, this just walks through kind of our milestones. Again, looking at a seed round this year, pushing into a Series A in 2022.
4 minutes, just to let you know.
Okay. This is our team, myself and Brian Almeida, the co-founders, and we're headed up by our Chief Clinical Officer, Dr. Camille Dixon. Wasn't too far off of my 4 minutes.
Great, fantastic. Judges, you can go ahead and fire in with the questions and feedback.
Real quick, I'll begin with the money, the allocation of funds once you raise whatever amount of money you're looking for. Can you provide any color as to exactly where that's going? Because I know that when you say marketing, that's
sure.
big.
Yeah, so a lot of it would continue with the direct-to-consumer marketing, which is really split between digital, and we also do marketing on TV. But it would also scale to do a lot of marketing for providers. And really, what we end up thinking is that we're going to partner with some medium to large DSOs. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but a dental service organization, that would have anywhere from 20 to 30 to 50 practices, and that's really how we see ourselves scaling throughout, nationally.
So Jeffrey, thank you. I love the focus on being patient first and passing on the stellar experience and cost savings out to them. I'm curious to learn a little bit more about the subscription service afterwards. So think of the life cycle of someone who has dentures. Beyond record keeping, what else is there? What other after sales offering is there?
Sure. So really, the basis of the subscription agreement is in the event that someone loses or breaks their denture. At that point in time, because we have that record kept, we literally can get them a brand new denture back within a few days for a couple $100 versus a few months and a couple thousand. So really, in the grand scheme of things, we're set out to create a paradigm shift. And that is that dentures can almost be a consumable, right? Because somebody could sign on with us and get a new denture every 3 months that's nice and clean. If you think of like the Harry's or the other, razor companies, it's a very similar fashion. It's just, that's a huge paradigm shift.
So that's interesting to me. Is that typical? It's like a 3 month, I don't have dentures, but is it what's the lifetime value of a customer?
I mean, people wear their dentures today for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're disgusting and they have germs on them and they're just a huge issue. But for a patient, with us, they could spend a couple $100 on a denture, and they could get a new denture every 3 months or every 6 months. And again, that's next step for us is to try and get that sort of paradigm shift moving. But that's the very proactive patient. And right now our focus is just denture patients generally only do anything when there's a problem. And so we've focused on long-term care facilities as well, where these dentures get lost or broken all the time.
This is.
And just to clarify on the business model there, because you said there's an upfront cost of a couple $100 when they get their first pair or set of dentures. So with the subscription, does that mean for the lifetime of that subscription, they can get any additional ones, or do they also have to pay an upfront cost or an additional cost?
Sure. So generally speaking, when someone signs on with us, they're probably getting a new denture to start. And so the subscription would just be a line item. So they would get charged whatever the dentist is charging for the work being done, the denture, and their first year. And then after their first year, then they would just be charged another $149 for the next year. Obviously, we would be doing a lot of marketing to push people, to, hey, get a new denture, get a nice clean one. We have a deal or something like that.
And what's the cost structure associated with that then, right? I was just saying, what's the cost structure look like? Because if they don't claim a new pair of dentures in the first couple of years, but they're still charging it, I just want to understand the margins relative to someone who's getting a lot of dentures in that year versus someone who isn't.
Yeah, sure. Well, once they're on board, there's really no cost for us, right, on the $149. But generally speaking, given what we've seen thus far in a year, I would say 15 to 20% of people would lose or break or have an issue with their denture, and therefore, getting a new one. In our cost modeling, we used 15% as basically the rate in which people would lose a denture.
So a global question real quick. This is obviously habit changing, which is be daunting a little bit because you're innovating pretty significantly here.
Yes, sir.
And this is and bravo. It's a really cool idea. When you say nobody's ever done this before, I get really excited at the same time. Logistically, dentures, I don't know much about them. Don't have them yet.
Yep.
Who knows? One tooth versus 80, or what would it be, 40 teeth? What's the difference? And obviously you go to a dentist, you keep a record could it be one tooth? And is there a cost, or is it you have everything?
Sure. So right now we're focused on full dentures, meaning that on that arch, they are completely edentulous or no teeth. Okay. With that being said, we are in the works with another partner that has some IP around partial dentures. But to answer your question, to replace a denture, the only change really that would be made is in their is like on their jaw. If they lose weight, for example, so we would suggest to people to go in and get a scan every year. Number one, they should be doing that for a cancer screening anyways. Number two, it's a sales opportunity for the dentist. And if they did lose weight, all we have to do is put a little bit of impression material in their existing denture, put it back in their mouth, and we can make them a new one.
Thank you, Jeff.
I just have one more question.
Sorry, Robert. We have to cut the time because we've got the next one coming up. But I'm sure you guys can connect in either the chat or the networking after. Sorry about that, Robert.
I'll be after for the networking. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. It was nice to be the pole position today. So thank you very much.
Congrats, Jeffrey.
Up next, we have Priya from Linguiyo.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Priya. How are you?
Good. Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Priya Luwalia, and I'm here to talk about Linguiyo. Have you ever wanted to learn a new language? Chances are you may have tried one of these apps. But were you able to learn the language or even complete the course? Maybe not. Why? Because these are just apps with no human support, ineffective methods, and isolated learning, resulting in poor learning outcomes. And only 20% complete the course. Enter Linguiyo. Linguiyo is an on-demand language learning platform with online language lessons and human teacher support. In addition, we also offer live cultural experiences and language games to reinforce language learning and make it fun. And by the way, we are the first edtech startup to accept crypto and also the first to offer sign language options. Linguiyo's platform looks like today. This is Linguiyo's platform as of today. This is under development. On the top left, you see our homepage. On the bottom left, you see some testimonials from our current students. And next to it, it says, we accept crypto. We will be launching with 12 languages, 12 experiences in one language game, but I have put together on the right-hand side few of our popular courses and experiences to show you how the platform looks like. And all these three you can access from the homepage itself. Let's take a deeper dive into the product. What will the products look like? On the left, you have a language learning platform where you have Margot teaching you Spanish. At the bottom of the screen, there will be a help button which you cannot see at the moment, through which you can reach to Margot at any given time if you have a question, which you cannot do with any of our competitors. On the middle of the screen, you have Neha and Uluk giving you live cultural experiences. And on the right, you have a sample of a language game, making it a true holistic language learning experience. So who are the people behind Linguiyo? When I created this deck, there were 22 people, but as of this morning, there are 25. I am the founder and CEO of Linguiyo. I have over 11 years of language teaching experience. I have taught over 1,000 students in China, India, and the US. We have about 11 tech people and 10 language and cultural ambassadors. What is Linguiyo's potential? The global online education market is about $188 billion. And the competitors you just saw, they own $6 billion of it. And we believe that with our disruptive technology, we can own half of it, around $3 billion. So what is Linguiyo's future? We plan to launch our MVP by May 21, with 12 languages, 12 experiences, one game, of course, crypto-enabled in the USA and India market. And as the months progress, we plan to add additional languages, experiences, enter new markets, and have university partnerships. Let's look at our business model. All of our three core products are priced differently. Our language courses retail at $120, our experience is about $25, and games at $5. From May 21 to March 22, we aim to target 135,000 customers, leading to $12.6 million in revenue. And how do we do that? Well, we are seeking $3.5 million in seed funding, 46% of which we will use towards technology hires, 17% towards operations and sales hires, and 38% towards marketing hire and growth budget, so we can focus on user acquisition, product development, and new market entry, so we can achieve our target of 135,000 customers and 12.6 million in revenue by March 2022.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
4 minutes, and that's perfect timing.
Priya, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm trying to learn additional languages with my children, so I can totally appreciate the product here. I'm curious, how are you looking to go to market? Is it a consumer play? Is it an enterprise play? Or is it what is your thought process behind that?
The platform or the marketing strategy?
Well,
So,
I guess, are you selling direct to consumer, or are you selling through
the
schools,
customer.
or what is your plan?
So right now we are
Yes.
trying to go B2C, but later we plan to engage with different universities.
So Priya, I really like the humanization and gamification elements that you folded into EdTech, especially language, which is critical. How do you think about some of the other competitors out there like italki that actually have a human component where you're actually learning from another person there, and just get yourself known in this somewhat crowded space now?
That's a great question. I actually tried that application. Linguiyo is very different. I have over 11 years of teaching experience, and I wanted to drift away from the normal teaching method, not being physically online with the student. The teacher you saw, Margot, she was not live teaching you. This is a platform where all the teachers record all their sessions that we put on our platform. This way, at one time, you are able to teach not one, but 1,000 students around the world.
And how are you, and who exactly are, I mean, I heard you explore right now, you said right now you're pushing more of a D2C approach, and you kind of plan to expand into more, B2B and working with educators directly. Who are the crop of customers you currently have right now, if any, and how are they, interacting with this? How often are they coming back to it? Are they, inviting their friends? I'd love to learn a little bit more about just how users are interacting with it in general.
Sure. So right now, the platform is under development.
Okay,
we are building a web platform. This will be live in May, but we currently do have 5 students. I did personally a soft launch in January, and since then I've had 5 students who are interested in also who will be using Linguiyo's platform in the future. And they are our paying customers at the moment.
Awesome. Very cool. Just one more on this is looking at like other teaching content platforms right now. The one that comes to top of mind first for me is something like Guru or even Coursera, one of these, which have teachers live on their platform, which are expanding into making their own content. Where do you see yourself competing with these people? I mean, does this get to the point where you get exciting, you get big enough to prove that there's a market for this, and then they eat your lunch? Or can you tell me the insulation from competition?
Well, we are not only attracting language learners, but also people who are curious about culture. If you don't want to learn a language, you can just come on our platform and learn about any culture through like a Turkish coffee fortune reading experience, try Japanese sake, French art, or you're just coming on a platform to play language games. So we are not just targeting language learners, we are targeting multiple different types of customers.
Interesting. So if I was moving to France for a year or something and I wanted to get immersed in it beforehand, this would be the site for it.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, and I'm sure we're going to get interrupted here, but in terms of go-to-market, that's a lot of money you're asking for, obviously, right? And you have a product and an MVP that's on its way. Are you, in terms of your strategy, because you could spend $3 million in New York City to promote your app, and you might, or your platform, and may not even see that much traction. Are you focusing on spot markets, or is there, like, in terms of adoption, like, where are you focusing initially your efforts to have some adoption take place?
Well, the reason we are asking 3.5 million, because out of that 3.5 million, 1 million will directly go towards marketing. We will be putting $1 million directly towards marketing through our dedicated operations and sales people.
So a lot of SEO, if I'm not, is that where you're?
Yes, and I actually wanted to go a little different than just online marketing. I was planning to create a sales channel where students or other local teachers become our salespeople who promote on their platform as well. This way we save money on the marketing as well.
Interesting. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you, Priya. That is your time just there. Judges, thank you for your questions. and we will be going to the next one. So thank you very much for coming on, Priya, and I'm sure judges can meet you in the networking, and there's other ways for people to catch up with you after.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya.
Up next, we have Mark from Lenme.
So Lenme is a subscription-based peer-to-peer lending platform. I mean, if you look at the market right now, 138 million Americans, they struggle financially in a need for short-term cash. And the average interest rate charged for that kind of user is 400% APR. That's how much they got charged on interest rate on each loan. And this segment of borrower, they usually borrow 10 times per year. This is the average number of loans per customer that they borrow. And that's why we thought about subscription model. But we didn't only look at borrower side, we also looked at the lender side. If you look at the lender on that space, which small amount loan market, first, they don't have a full picture of the borrower risk profile. They have a high operational cost result from shop rent, operational cost, because they still use a traditional way to either evaluate borrower or collect payment. They don't use end-to-end technology solution for that segment. And most of this high cost of operation and using a traditional way is actually transferred to the consumer in terms of high interest and high fees. That's why we thought about Lenme. Lenme is a fully automated peer-to-peer lending platform that focuses on small amount loan market that directly connect the borrower with lenders, with data provider, along with financial institution lending business who wants to have an easy access for lending businesses. When we say fully automated platform, we are saying that borrower come using a machine learning technology, they get verified. In 3 clicks, they will be able to request a loan. Once they request a loan and verified through an app, we will automatically lease their loan to our platform, and lenders will start bidding on a better interest rate for our borrower. So we believe that we better serve our borrower and lender when we only focus on technology and monetize from subscription. So basically, we have till now 280,000 users registered on our platform. We have 2.75 million of loan originated, and we generate 12 cents for every dollar invested through our platform, all for only subscription. Till now, we have around 12,000 loans originated in our platform. So as I said, we are a subscription-based model. So basically, we charge a subscription for the borrower, which 99 cents per month, monthly subscription, and 1% or a minimum of $3 in each loan. With this 99 month subscription, they will give them an access for loan in that segment, build their financial health by either having a better interest rate in the future or having better loan amount in future once they build the history. Second, we found that with a subscription, borrower is more loyal to our platform, more loyal to our lenders, and there is one umbrella that actually cover all the data around the user, and we build a risk profile for them. We have our Lenme Enterprise, and lenders, they charge 80 or they pay a month subscription, which gives them a fixed monthly cost starting from $84.99 monthly subscription tiered based on the lending volume per month. We also have our standalone product, which is our Lenme Predict. It's a machine learning algorithm that focus on the risk profile of the borrower. We charge a $49 per month or $3.99 for 100 prediction per month for 12 months. Actually, all this number, this is our Lenme Predict solution. So Lenme Predict is our machine learning algorithm that looks into the credit score of the borrower, a full credit score of the borrower, bank aggregated data, aggregated from their bank account. So once the user come to our app, they get verified, they connect their bank, so that will give us the opportunity to understand.
That's your 5 minutes up there, just to let you know.
Okay, so this market is a $62 billion market. This is our current partner, and this is our team. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. I have a question around the profile of users that you're targeting. What is the recurrence or return profile of your target segment? How often are they coming back for loans? And then as a follow-up to that, is there any interest in you in thinking about how to help these borrowers over time pay back. And as they build better credit and hopefully greater financial literacy, like how do you think about graduating them through that borrowing journey?
I mean, that's exactly. So first, in terms of the market average borrower in that segment, they borrow 10 times per year. That's according to the CFPB report. What we have changed here, that we will allow them to pay a monthly installment, which because we use technology, it costs us almost the same. However, when they pay an installment, it's more affordable for them. And second, one of the other problems that we have in that market, that they borrow first time and they borrow second time, but no one looks at the first time as an opportunity for a better financial health. So basically, once they build loyalty with our platform, that gives them to build a better risk profile. Lenders will bid on a better interest rate for them. The risk profile will decrease, allow them to get better loan amount and better interest rate. So they build financial health by having that. That's number one. Number two is the education itself. We definitely have plan. I mean, one of our interests is to make borrower pay back on time, have the opportunity to get cash and instant cash anytime. So basically, financial literacy is part of it. We started that with our blogs, which is not effective, but we definitely have that in our app as well. Also, understanding the financial, understanding is their financial need, and encouraging them to pay their bill or utilize the banking data to give them an insight into their cash flow. That will be one of our plans as well. However, segment of our borrower is around people who wants to borrow money from $50 to $5,000 loan. So we focus on small amount loan.
How are you marketing your services to, I guess, your end customer?
Yeah, so mainly all our marketing was focused on digital marketing. I mean, Facebook and Google and other channels. However, we have a lot of organic marketing. I mean, around 300 downloads per day is coming only from organic referral or organic marketing that we, because of the benefits that we provide to our borrowers.
Mm-hmm. I have questions about your revenue model, which I want to hit offline because they're too big. I just want to run back through it and where revenue sources are coming from, exactly how you're expecting those numbers. You're trying to raise money, I presume.
Yes, that's right.
Right? And where does the money, where's it going? I may not have noticed that.
So our plan is to make at least 1.5 million users by the end of that year. And we will utilize that money. First, we are trying to raise $3 million round. We are going to utilize that in order for user acquisition, and we're going to use it for user acquisition. One of the unique opportunity that we have, we are a fully automated process, no human involvement in the lending process. So that will give us an opportunity to scale, opportunity to generate loans at the same cost of operation.
So just one quick question on my side. Just so I noticed you have 285,000 users, about 2.7 million in loans originated. That's about $9 per user originated. What percentage of your users are actually getting a loan by the end of it? And then separately, what is the default rate on your loans?
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you're aware about that market default rate. So average default rate, I mean, I'm just talking about a simple payday loan shop or an online lender. The average default rate for that is 21% for a mature payday loan and 24% for non-mature payday loan. Our current default rate is around 11%, which is way less than current 11.
Wow. Okay, great.
So that's way less than the current payday loan. That's number one. Sorry, again, what's your the other question?
What percentage of your users are originating a loan? It's not super. We can do it.
Our loan fulfillment is around 30% right now. I mean, we definitely trying to increase that gap. But out of this 280, there is people that we weren't able to verify. We are not able to verify their account. We are not able to verify their identity, or they are underbanked, they don't have a bank account. So we also have plans to give like a kind of checking account for them, to give them the opportunity to connect their employer check directly to Lenme.
Got it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the pitch. Thank you, judges, for your questions. Great pitch. Up next, we have Alex from PHARM Robotics.
So hello. We are revolutionizing the dairy industry. I mean, imagine a world where people will no longer be giving inoculations by hand, and high compliance could really be achieved through automation. My name is Alika Chuk, and I'm co-founder and CFO of PHARM Robotics. Now today, dairy farmers around the world have to give millions of vaccines and reproductive products to their cows, all by hand. My co-founder and CFO, Marinas Dijkstra, is a dairy farmer himself, and at his farms, he gives 54,000 shots annually. He has 3 full-time employees who have to locate these cows and give these shots, but unfortunately, they don't always give shots 100% correctly, both in terms of administering correct protocols and then data entry thereafter by hand. So, but by eliminating these issues, his farm could actually be receiving an additional $275,000 per year. Now, to solve these problems, we're developing our robotic health center called SureShot. Once a cow exits the milking barn, she will be scanned by an RFID and camera ID reader to determine if a shot is needed. The gates at the injection site will then close, and a bumper restraint will extend to relax and restrain the cow. She will then be scanned again to determine what type of shot she needs and is weighed on a scale below. All of this information will be uploaded in real time to the dairy herd management program. The robotic arm will then deliver the injection in the cow's neck with the custom end of arm tooling. After this has occurred, the gate and bumper restraint system will then open, allowing for her to return to her pen. Now, SureShot automates the entire injection process for cows and will eventually lead to the first predictive modeling platform related to dairy and beef animal health standards. Now we can save on labor significantly and obtain that 100% compliance rate. And this process takes no human interference whatsoever. So missing these cows' reproduction schedules and the additional cost of labor, dairy farms miss out on up to $285 per cow per year. Now, as you can see, SureShot will be utilized, the data will be uploaded in real time, and then the dairy farmer will then have these expected outcomes, and most importantly, will be able to create better informed decisions moving forward with the accurate data that's being uploaded into his system. Now, to put things into perspective, take these 3 examples. A dairy will see an ROI from our system between 1.5 to 3 years, depending on the size of their operation, as well as their specific herd management needs, as well as herd health protocol needs and labor needs. So it's really all contingent on those items. As we're first to market with SureShot, we currently only have indirect competitors, including De Laval and Lely robotic milking systems. And to maintain our competitive advantage, we were recently issued our patent in December of 2020 for our technology. And we're working this year to start creating our patent family by filing additional applications. Now, in the projected forecast, we expect to generate over $191 million in net income over the next 6 years between 1,100 units deployed globally. And so to make it easier on farmers, we've teamed up with DFA, the largest dairy cooperative in the US, to provide financing options to their more than 13,000 member farms. Now, our team has a lot of experience in the dairy business and have deep connections throughout the industry. Our unique skill sets and areas of specialization really make us the perfect team to build this technology and take it to market. We also have 4 partners who joined the PHARM Robotics team, in which they'll leverage their capabilities in the dairy equipment, software as a service, and renewable energy space to transform the animal health side of the industry. Additionally, to scale PHARM Robotics globally, we have strategic alliances in place with the companies shown. Now, we've accomplished a lot over the past few years, and we are currently pre-prototype, pre-revenue for our company. So we're raising $1 million for our seed round on MeetFounders right now to complete our prototype, which we're projecting our first install to be in October, as well as bringing on 2 full-time employees and to begin producing future units to commercialize in 2022.
Just to let you know, your 4 minutes is up.
Now, with our system, dairy farmers can now maintain a 100% compliance rate, giving them peace of mind that their cows will live longer, healthier lives and produce high quality milk. Thank you so much for your time. We're happy to have you on board as we're trying to aggressively scale into commercialization in 2022. Thank you.
Congratulations on what looks like a pretty cool and innovative company.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
The process to sell in, I can't say that I've sold things into farmers before, but the process to sell in, there's a pretty tall CapEx amount that you're looking at possibly financing. Can you talk just a little bit about the process to sell this in and adoption? Because it seems like you're going to be, really in pain knocking on doors, selling 1 to 2 of these at a time, unless you get wide swept advocacy.
Yeah, awesome question. So right now, with the current connections that both myself and my co-founder have, we actually have able to obtain 41 non-binding LOIs. So what these LOIs essentially allow us to do is to come back to these potential customers in the future to then have those discussions and establish those purchase agreements. Because yes, it is very cost heavy, but in terms of our space, there is robotic milking and robotic teat dipping that currently exists. And in terms of both ROI for the customer, as well as cost right off the bat, in terms of servicing as many cows as possible, we are the most cost effective. And so at first it'll be direct sales to those 41 LOIs. But like I said, if those dairymen happen to be a DFA member, then we can help them out financing wise until we build those relationships with the larger institutions that will help us out on the equipment side of things.
And would you sell through veterinary or would you sell through farm equipment?
It would be through farm equipment. So really teaming up with other dealers around the US. So currently there's other dealers for robotic milking that are interested in selling our products in the future. And we currently have a partner on board, SDS, who already services 40 large dairies around the US, which in addition to our LOIs, we would be going after simultaneously.
And not to capitalize the last question, in terms of like a tipping point, of once they invest in this, and if it's a mortgage or whatever they have to do, some sort of loan, equipment loan, farm equipment loan, when do you, is there math on exactly when the scales tip as to when it really becomes worthwhile and they're in the black?
Yeah, so
really, and everything else, I know.
The projections we've been able to come up with really is an average of 3 years if you take everything into consideration and kind of have that baseline of an average farmer who may not have so good of labor and not so good of pregnancy rates coupled with that, and be able to basically project that within 3 years, no matter kind of your circumstances as a baseline. If you use our system and these products are given 100% correctly, that's kind of what we've seen in terms of worst case scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great, fantastic idea. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, sorry, I lied. It wasn't my last question. Liability. This thing scares the hell out of me because there's needles going in places that are mechanized. This may be a dumb question, but wow, what if the cow jerks, or is there liability that you will absorb as a result of that, or what's your insurance look like?
Yeah, so that is something we're looking into as we get closer and closer to commercialization. But actually, at this point in time, we're pivoting away from needle-based injectors and going towards air-pressured injection systems. And so there's a company that already does this for the swine industry that is looking to get involved in the dairy industry and vice versa. So really, yes, we are starting in the dairy industry with the 8,000 largest dairy farms out of 34,000 dairy farms in the US. But after that, it's really whatever animal type will require this in the future is who we're after, beef, swine, goats, sheep. So we thought it was a good partnership to start off right on the bat and also save R&D. So that's kind of where we're heading right now, is trying to stay away from reinventing the wheel, so to speak, with needle-based injectors.
And I guess a tangent on that question, because my question was going to be, where else could you pivot this? So beyond other types of livestock, are there other use cases for that arm on the farm?
Yeah, so there's also situations where we could utilize our arm to robotically chalk the cow, basically signaling to other employees on the farm that she needs this specific medical treatment or that specific medical treatment, whether it's blue or orange. So there's a cost associated with that, where guys right now are going down the feed lanes, having to do that all manual by hand as well, in addition to shots. So that coupled with things like fly spray, and we could also put a robotic teat dipper on. There's many applications that our arm could evolve to, and different customer segments that we could apply our technology to as well.
Well, because that would help also with the total cost of ownership, right? Like if you have multiple use cases, then it makes it more attractive for the farmer.
Yes. Yep.
Thanks.
Are we at time, Sergio?
Yeah, just hit the 5 minutes, but I'm sure you guys can connect after if you have any more pressing questions.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. Have a great pitch. Up next, we have Daniel from GenoBank.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Uribe. I am the CEO and co-founder of GenoBank.io. Basically, my journey in blockchain started in 2015 while I was in the Singularity University here in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was specialized in fintech and cybersecurity. My background at that time was working for banks in the Unix space. But in 2017, my son was diagnosed with a DNA mutation that is causing him a rare disease in his blood. So at the time, I became I just wanted to learn more about genomics and obviously his mutation and how the data is been exchanged from all the specialists and researchers. So that's why we created the first blockchain-based saliva DNA extraction kit with the mission to allow users to own and control their biosamples and their residual data. Because I saw this problem that obviously our personal data is being abused, and the most sensitive data that we have is our DNA. So the thing is that wherever, if you are participating as a patient or as a user, once you submit your biosample, the patient is out of the equation. It loses the engagement to their biological property, as we call it. Usually these testing companies sells this information or even the samples to big pharma or third parties. And although this is legal, we think there's a better alternative to do this, because this is done by a sub-licensable worldwide royalty-free license to use your DNA up to 100 years in some cases. So our product is literally based on two things. The first one is the kit that uses non-fungible tokens. We're using the standard in Ethereum, the ERC-721. Right now is really popular in the crypto art space and collectibles. So basically we make these saliva tubes a collectible, and we invite the users to create a wallet where this NFT is referenced. So we don't use any email or any phone number or name in these kits. It's only the cryptographic wallet that controls the access and the flow of these saliva tubes. So you can literally send these kits to the laboratory. Your data will be tokenized, so it'll be recognized as a fingerprint, and it'll be controlled by you. Basically, here's how it works. When the kit arrives, the person will create the wallet, spit in the tube, and send it to the laboratory. Of course, the wallet is also paired with a data secure room where the laboratory will deposit the data. We also are producing the COVID-19 traveler passport, because these saliva samples are also used for COVID-19 tests. So if somebody has the curiosity to scan with their phones this QR code, please, you'll be able to see one of our demo QR codes that basically are used to travel or to enable travelers. So as you go through the QR code, you can see that it has my name. It's a PCR test. It's negative, and it lives in the phone.
Just to let you know, your 4 minutes is up.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is our traction. Our business model is $25 per kit, and we charge $2 to $5 per traveler certification. We just made a crowdfunding campaign for 64K in Republic last year. Right now we are in MeetFounders. This is our team. We're based in California, and we are being global right now. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking a little bit more.
Hey, Daniel, thanks for that. Really love this value proposition here. What do we need to take action? So like, I've got my like DNA NFT token, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's data as an asset, right? Let's say for the human being. But I would need like lab research facilities, companies to be able to take that token, right? And actually do something with it if I was going to monetize on it, like my own data. Beyond being a COVID passport, which I see a total like use case for, but how will the use cases come to life without sort of like the rest of the world coming on board?
Yes, no, thank you for the question. So this is still our first customer. We are a B2B solution. So Somos Kit is the first company to develop this, to offer this in the California market. This is for Latino community, and it helps you to know your ancestry from pre-Hispanic, right? If you're Mayan, Aztec, and so on. So the token is a permission token. The participants in our chain never loses ownership of your data. We believe that DNA has always it has to remain with the person, right? It's a human right. So the person using the wallet can issue tokens, permission tokens to researchers to access the data, so they can produce, like, for instance, this ancestry map. The token is revocable. Of course, Somos is also a biobank, so they invite after the ancestry map to stay with them. So it's a kind of staking the genomic data in exchange, as we were saying, of rewards. Maybe it's a coffee, maybe it's a portion of Bitcoin, we don't know. But at the end of the day, we provide a wallet so the researcher can interact with their donors in a pseudo-anonymity kind of way.
So how do you get the penetration that's already been done by like the 23andMe, the Ancestries? Those guys have already, hit the market to a certain degree, right? It would be a matter of partnering with those folks and saying, hey, we're offering a token which actually gives the end user ownership over their data, right?
Correct. Yeah, we would love to partner with those kind of companies to scale, because right now the sales dropped a lot. I believe they just touched the maximum amount of growth because of privacy concerns. Mm-hmm. So if any of these companies wants to hit the 100 million kind of threshold, we believe it's got to be through decentralization of the ownership. People is not trusting anymore in these kind of companies. But you're right. We're going to offer in the next few months the tokenization service, where through the privacy laws, we'll be able to reclaim those data from the companies that already have it, because this data is really easy to identify if you share a small portion, and we call them SNPs, right? So usually these companies have 700,000 SNPs. Well, only with 96 you can locate your data, and through the privacy laws you will be able to reclaim and say, hey, I want to delete, or whatever the right of the data law might be.
When you say be able to track the data, are you, I understand it as like my primary source when I've handed it to you, right? But am I able to track this across other instances where I may not have already realized I've handed my data out? Let's say if I've already done this with a doctor, or if I've already done 23andMe, right? And I want to be able to see how this stuff's being used. Is there an opportunity to cross track with your tech?
It depends on the data law. The federal data law, it seems, is going to come in 2022, and it depends on how many times you can knock on the door of each company to ask if they have data from you, right? Mm-hmm. That right, at least in the GDPR in Europe, it's 2 times a year, and you can send a request, and they have 72 hours to respond back. Usually, there's no way to track genetic data because there's not such a company like us, like providing this service. Because usually they track your email or your name or other personal information. Now the service we will be able to give is to give this small sample that is small enough not to violate your privacy, but it's small enough to locate your data set in a de-anonymized or de-identified database of genomic data.
And when you say knocks on the healthcare providers or whoever has this,
it's an email.
To an extent, that still feels self-reported. Whereas like with this, it feels like it's almost candid. Like I get to see this as people are using it in real time, as people are requesting something. I would include my data when I'm using GenoBank. Is there an opportunity to be able to, across the board, start to have some way of candidly tracking any way of, I don't know, seeing my health data being used or requested using your tab?
Yes, the idea is to empower the user, right? Because at the end of the day, these NFTs are taking as proof of ownership, right? That's an ongoing debate, right? That's not solved. But that GenoBank is trying is that once you have your NFT and you can prove it's yours because you're the source of this biological information all the time, you will be able to prove cryptographically that you have the right to claim to the companies based on data law, on data regulations, if they have a portion of your data. And if they do, they'll have to either allow you to edit, delete it, or just reconsent if you're okay by them having your information for another period of time.
Okay. I'm going to have to cut you guys off there. But,
sorry.
Great questions. Thank you very much. Daniel, great pitch. Thank you so much. I'm sure you guys
thank you
after.
Yep.
Up next, we have Daniel from APHRODITE.
Okay, cool. Hey, everybody. I'm Daniel. I'm the founder and CEO of APHRODITE. We're an analytics startup in San Francisco. So basically, what we do is we're building lightning fast business intelligence. And the way it works is we're actually leapfrogging legacy databases that Looker works on, and we're plugging directly into platforms that businesses use every day. And the point of this is that we want businesses to be able to, with one click, 30 seconds, just see their entire business and how it works across the internet. And so the problem we discovered is that all these companies are going online, they're spending on different platforms to increase revenue, but the return they're getting is sort of murky, and what's working and what's not working isn't really clear either, even with the best analytics tools. And we think there's three reasons. One is there's actually problems with the stores that are going on in the e-commerce, no matter what platform. What the actual ROI is, it's really hard to find, and the data is siloed by different platforms. And what we discovered is that almost all of these platforms have APIs, and if they don't, they have CSV exports that we can actually parse. And so the two solutions right now are either you get Looker, costs about 50 grand as a minimum ticket, it's a giant box of Legos. The other option is you do it in Excel yourself. And so what we built is actually one application. It's a super simple dashboard with some like basic reporting systems that pull from all these different platforms. And we took the Bloomberg terminal and basically tried to build that for the new generation. So super simple example, if you're a numbers person, this is the output that Facebook gives you versus us. We're plugging into the same data, but we give you totally different answers. If you're a visual person, we do some beautiful dashboards. And I think that's why CFOs are our biggest fans, because we really just ask them, what do you need to know, and worked our way backwards. The business model is super simple, different plans, all the way up to enterprise, and we're starting to work on some larger integrations. There's a big landscape I can go into if you want a separate demo and meeting, but we looked at everything in this cross-platform that we're really confident about. So in the last 6 months, we started super small, did some small licenses, and we're starting to do like larger enterprise deals and deals with entire platforms. And the thing we're really going after is starting at the low end, which is crowdfunding, and working our way all the way up to retail 2.0. We're in the middle right now, which is Shopify in e-commerce. And one of our customers actually wants to be an investor. And so we're raising a seed round together with them as a corporate venture capital right now. So for a full demo, just hit me up. I'll give you a tour. And about us, we used to be an ad agency, built this as an internal software, opened it up after the pandemic and said, let's turn this into a SaaS platform. Super tiny team. It's just me and 3 employees, a lot of really awesome advisors that help us build the product and the company. And the terms are, we're raising $2 million as a seed round. We have a corporate venture capital and a few follow-on investors. We're talking to lead investors about term sheets. But that's essentially the deal is we're looking for a lead investor to lead the round so we can go from pre-seed to seed. And to stay in touch or to get in touch, Instagram is our day-to-day. LinkedIn is our more official stuff. And I'm Daniel at APHRODITE.io.
Really interesting. I'd love to learn a little bit more about when you say that you're able to collect some of these from just—
Thank you, Daniel. That looked awesome. Who are you going to disrupt first? Who are you going to knock off the pedestal? Who are you competing with that has just looked like the lowest fruit for you to take a swat at?
It was going to be ad agencies, but we found they're more. It's better to cooperate with them as channel partners. Initially, we were going to disrupt ad agencies, but then we realized if we white label it and actually say, "Hey, use this," as to replace your reporting layer, we can actually use them as channel partners, and they'll introduce us to all of their customers. The way that that evolved was we ended up doing the same thing for larger businesses, and it's turning out to be more the analytics departments of Shopify and Facebook, which it's kind of a ballet because we're trying to live in their ecosystem without disrupting them too much. So first it was the analytics and reporting department of ad agencies, and now it's the platforms as well.
It's funny because you're trying to amplify ROI, I presume. Like for the agencies, you're like, look at how great this stuff's working. But then you could really piss Shopify and everybody off if you show that it isn't.
Yeah. So it's a very delicate balance. We try not to give up too information about who's being disrupted. It is, if you know Clayton Christensen, it's a low-end disruption model, and it's mostly ad agencies that just don't want to get into the next generation, and the ones that work with us make it to the next decade, and the ones that don't, they're gone. That's essentially our master plan.
Are companies comfortable giving away this data? I mean, are these larger companies comfortable giving away this much data and giving you enough room to work with this? Because it seems like something that if they start to realize, hey, this is picking up steam, they may say, we don't want to continue to do this. Well, I feel like a big part of their strategy has been siloing their data. And so how are you getting them to really give this up in a way that's meaningful to you guys? And as you grow, how do you maintain that?
Feel free to throw tomatoes. I'm learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist kind of person. So we're fully GDPR compliant. We're fully platform compliant. We read everything top to bottom. So we know, for instance, Facebook isn't the biggest fan of us in their data, but we know every rule by heart. So the biggest concern is the platforms kicking us off. And we found that as long as the platforms put their stamp of approval on it, say, yes, this is GDPR compliant, yes, this is this compliant, the businesses are comfortable with. And I have a background in HIPAA compliance, so I know the importance of building the systems and actively communicating, this is exactly what we're going to do with your data in the interface and in the sales materials.
Okay, cool. What?
You have about 1 more minute left if you have any questions or any feedback to give.
Daniel, just one last question. I mean, anything you've done from a competitive moat perspective? I think about Magento, think about eBay, some of these players back in 2010 trying to do similar things, have a single source of truth dashboard across all your operations. I find it hard. It's been 10 years since I've been in that space, but there are not others who are, some of the partners you have on there aren't doing this themselves or trying to.
Yeah, so in let's say the Magento Shopify space, the people who want to write us a check are actually larger corporations who have, you know, a customer base on them and want to provide something for them. So in the case of Yamato Transport, they do 1.5 billion packages a year in Japan. And all their customers are using Shopify and are saying, hey, Yamato, your shipping analytics are amazing, but we need some help in Shopify, and they have no solution. So our deal with them is, well, if they need a solution, let's do Yamato Analytics and essentially white label it. So we have no, we don't worry about whose name is on it. We worry about, do they pay their bills? That's sort of our bootstrap background.
Got it. So the white label solution. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. That's right on the 5 minutes. And thank you, judges, for the questions once again. Good to see you again, Daniel. Another good pitch.
Awesome. Thanks for meeting. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Daniel.
You too.
And up next, we have Rebecca from the GameHERs.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Dixon. I am one of the 4 co-founders of the GameHERs. Since launching in March 2020, we have become the largest social networking and media platform for women who game in North America. Our mission is to advance the role, voice, image, and power of all GameHERs. Before we get into the details of the company, I want to let you know about the problem we're solving. As you may know, there are 2.7 billion gamers in the world, and almost half of them are women. The majority of women experience hate and toxicity while gaming simply for being women. Because of this, many of them long for a place to game and socialize based on shared experiences. With our first of its kind women-led game connection and web and mobile app, coupled with our empowering, influential, and diverse community, the GameHERs is the first company to enable women to easily and safely find one another to socialize and game with. The why now? According to the latest figures, the video game business is larger than the music and movie industries combined ×2. In the wake of COVID, the market is seeing a huge uptick in downloads, time spent gaming, and engagement. But we did not only start the GameHERs for those reasons, we also felt like it was the ethically conscious thing to do. Okay, we have 4 revenue streams: our app, data monetization, advertising, and merchandise and licensing. The app is the GameHERs Connect app. Currently, there's no easy way for women to find other women who game. What they do have to do now is to go on social media, throw a Hail Mary, go on Discord, get harassed. With GameHERs Connect, they can easily and safely connect, find like-minded women wanting to play just like them, and socialize back on the app. The app will be freemium based. It'll always have a free option, but eventually a $9.99 subscription and in-app purchases. The in-app purchases will be regular options like upgrading profiles or buying a skin, but also kind of fun things, microtransactions like a congratulatory glass of champagne for somebody who just beat you in a game. Our app consultant is Vic Kaufman, the vice president at IAC, who used to own the Match Group, and he and IAC think that the next big trend in apps is going to be friendship networking with social microtransactions. So we are excited to be at the forefront of that. Data monetization, we suspect with our tremendous community of women who game, there will be data that is relevant to companies like job platforms, publishers of games, and a variety of other industries. We also, advertising. We decided to host the Gamer Awards last fall. They came to fruition early on in our company's life cycle as a result of the founders recognizing that we needed to honor women who game, and also realizing that it'd be a good way to connect with brands. We're thrilled to say that we had 600 nominations, 75,000 votes, 175,000 people watched it on Twitch, and it opened the door for advertising to us. Logitech sponsored our next event. We've now had sponsorships from esports brands, and we have a lot of things in negotiation. Merchandise and licensing, we basically think that as a lifestyle brand with our mission that resonates, merchandise and licensing are going to be a fourth monetization strategy, and we already have brands approaching us for that, but we think it will come to fruition in 2022. And finally, since our launch in 2020, we have over 100,000 members, 2,500 of them in our Discord, which is pretty big for a Discord community. They are super, super engaged. We are raising $1.2 million, and we are going to dedicate 7 to 10% of it to diversity, equity, inclusion, so that it is normal for women, diverse, and otherwise to game. And we hope that you would like to join our journey with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. This is so cool. I work with a lot of gamers, so I really want to hear more about a networking session, but for the benefit of everybody, just curious. 100,000 in your community. What's the daily active user base right now?
So our app has not launched yet. Okay. So 100,000 in our community is across all of our socials right now. We're building up and on our email list. You know, it's basically our funnel to our app.
Got it.
And so when our app,
got it. And it's,
so I mean,
yeah.
I certainly, you know, 4 minutes is really quick to present.
Yeah, no, totally.
We certainly have on engagement. We've done focus groups, surveys. We have a survey that said over 50% of our community would be willing to download the app, all of that stuff.
Really?
But the app hasn't launched
yet.
Okay.
And then curious, like what kind of games, like are these your own proprietary games? Are they, you mentioned esports, are you bringing like other publisher games into
So again, I had to rush through this and that, but what happens is it is a matchmaking app where they connect, then they go play the game, then they come back and connect. And the reason for that is that after doing tons of market research and interviewing thousands of women, it is not possible right now for women to find each other to game. I mean, if you game with your friend, fine, you just go on and game. But if you want to find someone to game with, it is so toxic. It's so complicated more than anything. So it's literally a matchmaking thing. And then they'll also socialize and hang out, but they go play the games on
What's been the demo of your 100,000? Like what, age segment?
You know, it's primarily late teens to late 20s, early 30s right now. We expect it to get younger because we're actively getting into the college space, because to move the needle in this space, we have to go younger to sort of fix the problem before it is already a problem. So that will go down, but right now that's what it is.
And how are you acquiring?
Super cool. Great job presenting. There was a lot to fit in there. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Quick question. So how do you, this may be silly, but how do you actually vet, identify, protect? Meaning like, obviously the gender thing and the people who identify as, I don't know how much of a curveball that throws in there, but then they're actually making sure, because I've had experience in this realm with another area, AA and Al-Anon, trying to digitize that with anonymity was really hard. And it's as nefarious a marketplace or an area or worse, because there's just bad people out there. How do you make sure that the gender's true?
I hear you.
That the login doesn't get abused, and how do you, if you are targeting teens, so are other people not as altruistic or kind as you?
So it's a good question. First of all, we have, a lot of security right up front that, we have sort of the highest level of security technologically. And then we're going to have a whole sort of staff on board to just, to respond immediately. But the most important thing about the app is that it's self-regulated. So are trolls going to come in the app? Yes, because we can't commit that will never happen, because that happens on everything, right? We have the highest security level possible, but then if you never want to see somebody again, you never have to see them. That's a big difference from, so if someone harasses a woman or anybody in Discord right now, you can't erase the history of that harassment. You also don't know if they're going to be in another server that you go into. So for us, if you block someone, you will never see them again. If you go into another group that you join, again, I can send you guys more information about our app if you're interested, but if you go into another group, you'll find out right away, oh, this person who you didn't want to be in here was blocked. Also, separately, that person might have already been blocked from the whole app, depending on what happened after. But if for whatever reason they weren't, let's say you just didn't like someone and they actually weren't, there will be a vetting process that's a human vetting process, but that's after sort of the highest level of security. It's tricky. The teenage part of it, I have to say we are not sure. We're not going down that. We're sort of going level by level. We're looking at partnering with Gamer Safer. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a technology that does that specific thing for kids. And so when we launch, it'll initially be 18 and up. And then we're not going to do anything that exposes kids to something before we are 100% positive that it's safe. And right now our community is older anyway. It's just that when you talk about moving the needle for women as a whole in the industry, in girls, at some point we'll have to figure out a way to get younger, but that'll be sort of phase
I appreciate
two.
the
Two questions
the info. Thank you.
two questions for me, I guess. One is, how do you go about acquiring new users onto your platform? And then the other piece, just touching on what you were talking about there, was content moderation, and how are you looking at that?
Yeah, real quick, you mentioned licensing. How would that work?
Licensing would just be, it would be sort of as separate from the app. If we are, sorry, you guys are coming to me at the same time. I think it's delayed, but brands like, for example, the beauty brands are all really getting into the gaming industry. And so let's say there was going to be a nail polish, you know, people, they put a lot of time women gamers will put they have their hands on their controllers, and then they like their finger, you know, it's just sort of a fun licensing. And that's why I wear this hat, because our brand is really resonating with our community. So we envision it possibly being a fourth revenue stream for us, and we have brands approaching us for it. So we're testing it right now. It's, you know, we'll see if it works. The user acquisition is for the first 9 months, it was totally organic. The Gamer Awards were a huge user acquisition for us. We're expecting them to be way more than they were last year again. Word of mouth, and also we do partnerships all the time with other companies in the industry. Riot Games was one of our initial investors in our first, it was like a family and friends round, and then they invested in us, and it became kind of a pre-seed angel round. And so we do as many partnerships as we can, because everybody's in the gaming industry is looking to fix this problem. So we have a lot of people willing to partner with us and sort of spread the word.
Hey guys, that's the end of the time there. Sorry about that, Leah, and I think with Robert, I don't think, so he's just gone off to come back on. But yeah, Rebecca, thank you so much for your pitch, and you can catch up with these guys after. I'm sure they'll be looking to speak a little bit more about it.
Definitely.
That sounds great. So I just leave this room now.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank all of you so much. This is super fun.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Judges, thank you very much for this evening. Thank you for sitting through. I know it's not easy to sit through pitches all evening, but yeah, great questions, great feedback, and yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone was super interesting.
Thanks for hosting. Thank you, Churchill. Thanks, and Andrew. Wherever he is.
Right, enjoy the networking, guys, and yeah, be sure to indulge in that, and yeah, let us have any feedback if you do.
Sweet. That's cool.
All right, great to meet you guys.
All right, cool. Good to see everybody. See you.